My name is Chidima Orang. Of course, this morning, as usual, we are starting the program rather with the stories that are making it headlines on the national dailies and also ABS website. And we have our guest seated with us right here in the studio. And also, Michael Anko is here in the person of Ajulu Chuku Okawe. Glad to have you on the show again this morning, Ajulu.
Well, glad to have you, Chidima. Good morning. I can see you're really up to the TGIF edition of Good Morning Anambra and press review. But then let's get down to the nitty-gritty of business we have this morning for our viewers out there. Stay back, relax, and enjoy what we have for you.
All right, just to let you know that we are going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we introduce our guests and we go straight into discussion. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. We have as reviewers this morning, Arinze Anyebunam. Arinze is a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you this morning.
The pleasure is mine, thank you.
We also have Imandi Ezenago, also a public affairs analyst. Imandi, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, quickly, let's start with the stories trending on ABS website this morning. The first story, USAID, federal government orders a partner to tackle acute malnutrition in Nigeria. Anambra State government clears air on closure of Blessed Wisdom Model School Onitsha. Anambra State Assembly seeks safety measures in installation of liquefied petroleum gas stations. Anambra State government asks the oil-producing communities in Obaru to embrace peace. Okay. We've seen what we have on our website this morning. We have a lot of interesting stories there. Let's start with you, Arins. Okay. USAID and federal government on orders to partner, okay, to tackle acute malnutrition in Nigeria. Let's start from that.
That's quite an interesting one, but the truth of the matter is, like I would usually say, it's not about what the federal government is opting to do. It's about their efficiency in delivering. You see, as much as it is, it's very important that we deal with malnutrition. Mm-hmm. But the process and the commitment in dealing with it, fact is we have too many staggered issues at the moment in the country. But if they're able to be very objective in respect to this partnership, that's absolutely great.
Okay. Imandi.
Yeah, still on the malnutrition. You know, what is malnutrition? It is when you don't eat adequately or when you don't eat food that doesn't cover the 6 classes of food. And one of them is just hunger. There is hunger in the land. The federal government at this time doesn't even need much of US aid to come to the rescue. What they have to do is to stabilize the economy of this country so that people can afford what they can eat. Because with more vegetables, fruits, proteins and other that, there won't be any malnutrition. So the job of the federal government at this time is to stabilize our economy so that an average Nigerian or a Nigerian that is at the level of the poor will be able to afford what they can eat. Then stabilize, then invest more in the agriculture because that is where the food produce are being received. So them trying to tell us that like the federal government and USAID are trying to
And others,
and
not even
others.
just of them.
So this is a problem that only the federal government can handle, whereby giving much investment in the agricultural sector.
Well, maybe they feel they can't handle it alone. That's why they need partners to partner with them to handle it.
Government cannot handle alone. Too many things.
Just like you say, we have a whole lot of things to handle right now. So maybe this particular one, they actually need partners to help them. But the important thing is whether they are handling it alone or they are partnering with any organization, let them nip it on the board. That's the important thing. Yes.
There's a reality of malnutrition in Nigeria.
Exactly. Exactly. I think there was a research that was made and the numbers was quite alarming. The number of
Unfortunately,
people.
across all ages, people will really say children. Across all ages now, we have malnutrition. The elderly, the young, the infants, every age bracket has a taste of it.
Okay, let's also see this story coming from the Anambra State House of Assembly seeking safety measures in installation of liquefied petroleum gas stations within the state.
It's a very welcome development, and also I think it was a motion passed so that the sites of all these gas stations will be monitored before the installation. So apart from that also, I think the already existing ones should also be regulated. Those of them that we have at residential areas should be given time to move from residential areas to industrial areas, because this LPG now, it's a very hazardous something when it comes to explosion. And most of these gas stations, because the standard ones, this gas of a thing operates by temperature. Once it's above 35-degree temperature, there is tendency of explosion. That's why most of the standard gas stations, they have water sprayers. Once they regulate it, once they monitor and say that that the temperature is more than 30 to 35, they turn on the sprayer. The sprayer pours water on it to cool it down. So these are the things that the government will look into. Okay. Then the existing ones that are in residential areas, they should be given time to move from those residential areas to industrial areas, because this explosion, if it happens somewhere in Aroma, it can go as far as crossing even Kwata to Amobia.
Do we actually have industrial areas in Anambra State? If I'm actually asking.
Even I think we have.
You are thinking.
No, there are areas that are mapped out for industrial areas. That Agwaka, those are industrial areas, you understand?
The truth of the matter is, as much as you are very much correct, it's about government sticking to their plans, sincerely. Those areas that are mapped out, they should be put to use. Fact is, I had a report last week and I felt bad at the same time. I had a mixed feeling of thanking God. A petrol station, more like it, they are, what's it called, this gas for cooking. Somehow started escaping. The tank or whatever, the reservoir, whatever busted, and it was more like encircled where people are staying. It's funny. A woman who has an issue on with her legs ran, that kind of miracle because of her life. So the point is, as much as this is very important, I keep saying, let the government stick by whatever plans they have. Let there be objectivity.
The government you're talking about, are you talking about the state governments? Are you talking
about the
legislators? Are you talking about the agencies that have been set up by government to monitor these things?
The agencies, the legislative arm and the executive arm, they have a part to play. And as much as it is, even the agencies somehow, Or it's because the government is not maybe up to task observing and monitoring the agencies. Agencies can, I know one of my guys that set up a petrol station, and they come, you stop
DPR.
them. Yes, this is, when they see brown envelopes, they can approve a site that they shouldn't have approved. So these are part of the things people are not too concerned about
the safety measures
of the people. Once their pulse is smiling, they're okay with it.
Okay, thank you so much for that submission. Quickly, let's go over to the first paper that we have this morning.
And the first paper we have for review this morning is the Daily Sun, and the banner headline there is talking about ECOWAS expresses readiness to march on Niger Republic. And the writer there says there will be military action if dialogue, diplomacy fail. Nigeria's unity, Ohanaeze takes campaign to the UK. And then you have the picture of the governor of Enugu State. Governor Peter Mba of Enugu writes, being welcomed to the World Bank country director for Nigeria, Shobham Chowdhury, during visits to the bank's office in Abuja. The same Mba inaugurates panel on payment of pensions, gratuities of ex-local government workers and teachers. That you can find on page 27 of the Daily Sun. Palliative. Federal government doles out 185 billion to states and FCT. And then the writer says, NEC sets up committee to negotiate with labor. You can't fix Nigeria like instant coffee. That's coming from the president, Tinubu. Illicit funds draining Nigeria's revenue, forex reserves. And ICPC chairman, that's coming from ICPC chairman, every kobo of nation's income will count. That's coming from the presidency. Reps reshuffle committee cheers after Sunonu's ministerial appointment. Nigerians in pains, PFN tells Tinubu, and the writer says, urges citizens to accept pending presidential election tribunal verdict. That you can find on page 28 of the Daily Sun. Why APC can't stop NAS from executing constituency projects, party chair. Ex-legislators predict party's 60-year dominance. Wow. DHQ admits killing of 3 officers, 22 soldiers in Niger State. And last but not the least, Kano Governor Ganduje trade words over alleged attempt to induce election tribunal. That's the much we have on the Daily Sun this morning. Palliatives, FG doles out 185 billion to states and FCT. Arinze, what's your take on that? Is that actually the best way, in your own opinion, to go about?
The truth of the matter is a number of times certain reports cross your table and you feel like crying. You get it. Some persons who may not really have deep understanding of the system may want to appreciate the palliative. But I tell you, it's a progress to effecting a reoccurrence. We are not strong with the palliative thing. COVID-19, we had it. How much sure are we? Let's even say that we accept and celebrate and laud the palliative, whatever. The governments at the apex level, at the states, the governors and whoever that will be in charge of it, are we sure that it will get to those who need it? Palliative is for a given set, not for everybody. Palliative it's a measure to cushion pains. So there are people who are actually in pains. The economy may not be favoring everybody. Some is favoring. If we're able to harness, if we're able to assemble all of these funds and put them into productivity, it will pay off better than sharing funds. The money given to an arms beggar does not really do much. But if you're able to set that person on par and allow that person fend for himself, that's better. So I believe the money should be gathered together and invested in agriculture, in any sector that would actually help boost the economy.
Well, that's one thing. Secondly, you might begin to wonder, where is this palliative coming? Who were the heads that sat down to initiate that? Okay, 185 goes to states, and so trucks of rice, as it was stated, goes to this state. When just a few days ago, ministers were appointed, they've not even assumed office. So where is this statistics on what goes where?
And
Where did it come out from?
funny enough, I read a report yesterday. They said 5 million per state, and if we even go by that distribution or whatever, it's still wrong, because some states have both financial strength than other states. Some states have numeric strength than other states. So if we make the distribution even, 5 billion per state, some people will still be at a disadvantage. For instance, you cannot compare North to some eastern states and thereabouts. It's both the numbers and all of that. So it's
The level of poverty.
it's funny. I'm telling you, it's very, very funny.
But quickly.
Imandi, what about ECOWAS expressing readiness to march on Niger Republic? You know, a lot of people have been clamoring that, we should dialogue it out, talk and see what can be done. But they're saying that there will be military action if dialogue fails. What's your take on that?
I think I still have to go with the dialogue. You know, coming to this ECOWAS, who are the ECOWAS? At the end of the day, I think 2 weeks ago, last week, the ECOWAS chairman, that's our current president, he made a press conference and initiated and said that we are going for the war. Now, coming to the war, Nigeria will bear it more. Aside the fact that we share boundary with Niger, the modalities, the finances, the sponsorship, everything, majority of it, that means more than 70% of it will come from Nigerian resources. We are the ones that will do that. Even the humans, the firearms that they will use for the war, it will affect our economy. So the best thing for them, even the Niger coup that took over, say that they are not destroying the country, they want to fix things, put things in order, and then hand over, make election. We should have allowed them. What ECOWAS would have done is go into dialogue and say, okay, you people have succeeded in removing the president, give us the president, he's our member. Give him to us. We can, why you people sort out things? Just the same thing is likely to happen in Togo. Just check the number of it. You know, this kind of a thing happen in African countries where they have presidents that have stayed for, in Togo, the father was the president and then handed over to the son, and just like, can't you see what is happening? So, as ECOWAS are marching in for war, definitely that is not the best approach to the current situation.
All right, quickly, let's see what we have at the front page of the National Star newspaper this morning. We are going through pains. Tinubu says he has broken jinx in ministerial portfolios, assures several tons of grains released, bursts orders to follow. E.K. Clark, a role model for United Nigeria. And then you have no respect for courts, judge tells Tinubu. Subsidy removal, federal government approves 5 billion naira as a palliative for each state and federal capital territory. Unical suspends law professor accused of sexual assault. Edo man, 84, kills 75-year-old wife for refusing him sex. Must be mad. And bandits killed 36 military officers in Niger State coming from defense headquarters. Transcorp-led investors acquire 60% stake in Abuja Disco. And then we have NDIC probes 183 microfinance banks and directors. Okay, let's come to you, Arinze. In other paper, I just wanted to match it with what we have here, that the president is saying that we cannot fix Nigeria like an instant coffee. And then he's saying here that he has, that he knows that we are going through pains, including him. Every one of us, we are going through pain, that he has broken the jinx in ministerial portfolios. Of course, you saw the names that were released yesterday or day before yesterday, yes. So what's your take on the people that made it to that ministerial?
You know, like I said earlier, when we are before the camera like this, we try to coordinate ourselves. It's painful. The Nigerian political system has actually become a game of recycling. Some men in the ministerial list may have been said to be qualified, but what is the basis of their qualification? I keep asking, like somebody said, in respect to the ECOWAS and all that, a man who is agitating for justice must also come being just. The ministerial list is same as bringing those men who beat us into some kind of shape to come and man offices. Trust me, it's a way of compensation. That's the way I say it. For whatever reason, anybody may want to justify whatever happened. It's a way of compensation. Somebody who is an accountant was made the minister of power. In cases like that, how do we say that those men would actually work well in those offices? If you are given appointments, men who are efficient, men who are giving in that office should be appointed. People who are experienced, people who have some level of expertise in that field should be appointed. You cannot pick a lawyer and make the person maybe a minister of health or whatever. Somebody who has the variance between himself, what he read, and the office is coming to occupy is too long a thing. I'm telling you, and this is one of the reasons why we may not always get it right.
So you're saying that the pains that the president is talking about will definitely prolong based on the appointment of the ministers?
If they say they are in pains, it's just a camouflage to make the masses feel like they are feeling what we are feeling, but they are not.
How will you know?
A few weeks ago, the Senate president, mistakenly, if I should use that adjective, said something has been sent, a token. At some point, I even heard, this one I heard, that he even mentioned the amount for their holiday, just weekend for it. He said that, what pain are they feeling?
Okay, because of want of time, we are going to be rushing through the papers. Let's quickly take The Nation.
The Nation and The Guardian will be going together. And The Nation, the banner headline there says, states are washed with 180 billion subsidy pain relief. The rider there says, federal government gets 5 billion per state fund for immediate use to cushion high food fertilizer prices. NEC OK's transfer of World Bank's $800 million to the poor. Talks with Labour to go on. Emefiele charged with fraud, abuse of office, orders in Abuja. And Toby Amosun cleared for World Championship. For sport lovers, that's good news. Niger, ECOWAS activates standby force. And then we have Transcorp consolidate power delivery in Abuja. Ganduje louds Uzodinma Okorocha, leads Uzodinma Okorocha to Aso Villa. And then we have DHQ, 3 officers, 33 soldiers died in Niger ambush. Nigerian Air Force jet crash. And quickly, let's go to the Guardian newspaper. And then the banner headline is still talking about multiple ex-governors turned godfathers, unsettled governance in states. You can see the pictures of the godfathers. ECOWAS defense chief declared readiness to invade Niger Republic. Lobbyists storm APE secretariat, beg Ganduje for appointment. Relief as AU clears Amosu to participate at World Championship. APC NNPP trade blames over attempt to bribe election tribunal. DHQ, we have seen that. Nigeria gains about Naira gains about 15% as dealers dump dollar and count losses. That's what we have on both papers, The Nation and The Guardian. Quickly, Amanda, let me pick this interesting banner headline on The Guardian, you understand? Multiple ex-governors turned godfathers, unsettled governance in states.
Yeah, I mean, it started with the reign of yesterday's men.
Yeah, okay, reign of yesterday's men. What's your take on that?
This godfatherism of a thing is one of the hindrances. Is one of the hindrances to the progress of some states, because most of these, most of the money that you use to function in your state, you will use it to settle your godfather. most of the money that you use to pay the workers in your state, or most of the actions you are meant to take as a governor, you have to seek permission from your godfather. And I believe that this godfatherism of a thing is one of the problems we have in this country, both at the federal level and the state level. Take, for instance, this current ministerial appointment that took place. We know that majority of them, let's take for example the former Kayomi, who was the former minister and is now reappointed again as a minister again. So you see, this godfatherism is no longer a new name or a new system in the political aspect of this country, Nigeria. And apart from that, the godfatherism comes maybe when the governor must have finished his 8-year tenure, embezzled the one that he will embezzle.
So, in essence, what you're saying is replacing mediocrity with
that
mediocrity.
Is the thing. Then you have to put someone that will cover up your crimes. Then at the end of the day, the person you will still be reaping from the same pocket, from the same state purse that you read off when you were in power, and they are still the ones agitating for pension for just 8 years of service. Yeah.
Well, you have a point there. Arinze, can this be eradicated in this part of the country?
Jerry,
yeah.
We can actually, if we become sincere to ourselves, I've always maintained that it's wrong. Ex-governors coming back to become ministers. For instance, the Senate president, a two-term governor, has been a minister, a senator, and is back as a Senate president. Why will this man continue to journey like that? It gets to a point, if you are a governor, once you are done with them, step out of the way. Because this is more like...
But the Constitution doesn't provide...
It's part of this that I'm saying. We need to effect those changes. This man is also manipulating the system. They use it to settle themselves. They use it to compensate themselves. They use it to trade business. The governor of Ebonyi State, what's his ministerial office? He has a construction company. He served well at the state level as a governor and in the party system. Maybe, by judgment, to compensate and appreciate him, he's occupying an office that suits.
But truth be told, he did well in construction of road in his state, so they could have considered that too.
Infrastructure. So he did well some parts. But let's.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly see what we have in other papers. We have Daily Trust. Let's take Daily Trust first. Niger, AU opposes military action as ECOWAS readies forces.
The Daily Trust, let me take it off from there. Bribery allegation hits up Kanu Election Petition Tribunal. Staff induced with 10 million naira. Wow. NBA demands identity of indicted lawyers. Kanu government, APC trade words. And we have palliative government. Federal government approves 180 billion for states. Military says 3 officers, 22 soldiers killed by terrorists in Niger State. Nigeria complex, but not too difficult to manage. That's coming from Tinubu. We also have here, Abuja housewife burst into tears as barrow pusher escapes with her foodstuff. Jega to lead Carter Center election observation mission to Zimbabwe. Address forex challenges, other physical issues, experts tell Edun. And then we have the Tribune. Quickly, the banner headline is still talking about the palliative. States get 5 billion each, 185 trucks of rice. And then the rider says, NEC constitute ad hoc committee to dialogue with Labour, laments dwindling foreign investment inflow. And then we have Ipman, ANED, ship owners, farmers, others set key targets for Edun, Ekpo, Tunji, Ojo, Adelabu, and Lukbobori. should empower indigenous shipping lines, disburse $700 million to CVFF in 6 months. That Eduna saying must ensure fiscal balance, spending efficiency, and debt sustainability. Nigeria should not backtrack on PMS subsidy removal. That's coming from the World Bank. And then we have Ibadan residents protest at Oyo Secretariat over selling of house by Magaji. And NDIC hints on investigating directors of 103 failed microfinance banks and PMBs. And we also have nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. Gentlemen, so that's the much we have on these papers. Quickly, let's see what we can delve into. Sometimes when you hear politicians talk and you begin to imagine, are they really speaking based on reality? I'm talking about the caption where the APC caucus are talking about they intend to be in power for 60 years. 60 years, we've already had 8 years of total hardship, and then somebody is already giving us the proponent of 60 years. Are they not even thinking of the immediate fixing of this country rather than retaining power for that long?
One word I will have for it is, I'd say, diplomatic autocracy. Where a given sect wants to impose themselves on the people and take dominance of power.
Irrespective of whether they deliver on the dividends of it or not.
Irrespective of the concerns of the citizenry, irrespective of the feelings, the emotions, irrespective of whatever happens to the economy, irrespective of the complaints. In as much as their interest is satisfied, in as much as whatever they consider to achieve for themselves and for whomever they want to achieve it for is concerned, every other thing is in consideration. As a matter of fact, it's ridiculous. I would say that most times our politicians are not even conscious of the image they portray of themselves. How would you boldly come out and publicly declare that you are taking seats for 60 years? It means you've given us a time frame that we should anticipate you leaving the space. So we should make do with whatever happens. That's what it means. And it's ridiculous. And that's maybe one of the major reasons why the Nigerian people, we are used to adaptation. You hear people say it's no longer new to us. Yeah. We'll adapt. When the hike in prices started, people were complaining at some point now everybody's taking it at ease. If you used to buy 610, you may start saving up 650 or 700 should in case it rises again. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I must tell you, it's a shame that our political gladiators think and carry themselves in such manner.
Okay.
Imandi, the president has said Nigeria complex but not too difficult to fix. That's in Daily Trust. And then in the previous dailies, he was telling us that Nigeria cannot be fixed like a coffee. So which is it? Which one are we to take?
You're saying that we should give him more time to.
I guess that he's asking for time to fix Nigeria.
Based on the antecedent, the trend he's taking.
Yes.
I don't think he has.
That's what I want
exactly.
to say. That despite the fact that he may be asking for time to fix Nigeria, the approaches that he's taking there is no hope. He cannot fix it. He cannot fix it using these approaches. Although in his ministerial appointments, anyway, I want to commend him on the Southeast, on the way he gave the Southeast. Wait, hold on, I'm coming. The appointments he gave them. At least now, Southeast, we have, out of the 5 states, we have 4 senior ministers and 1 junior. And for the first time, some ministerial positions that the Northerners feels that it is their birthright, we are taking from them at this time.
Given to who?
Wait, just like the Minister for Works, this is the first time. Wait, this is the first time an Igbo man is being the Minister for Works in Nigeria. That's Dave Omahi. No, listen.
You may
Despite,
have
hold on.
reason to
Despite the
agree.
No,
fact,
no, just make your point, and yeah, you can counter at the end
despite
of
the
the day.
fact that I do not support, accept the process which he used to be the president, but in this aspect, I think I commend him for giving this, even though that we are still clamoring for more senatorial position, because some have some zones have about 8, some zones have about 9, but we have 5. I get him. What I'm trying to commend him in the aspect is that he gave the Southeast, like even the one at the I think Southeast was opportunity to be the Minister for Trade, Commerce and Industry.
So
These are
what you are saying, with the caliber of ministers that you appointed, that he can actually fix the nation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you want to say, Marisa? What do you want to add?
The truth of the matter is, except if I must agree with you, they begin to deliver.
Okay.
Like I stated earlier, it's a compensation thing. It's not on the basis of, as a matter of fact.
Begin to deliver means what? What is your expectation based on what is on ground? What is that delivery? What do you expect them to do?
That's the point now. President seeking for time with the urgency of need in the Nigeria that we have, and at the moment, we don't have time to give anybody. Before he assumed office, he said, as soon as he assumes office, he will hit the ground running. And I told people he actually did it. So we've been running.
Well,
It depends on your logic of the run.
we should understand that it's still a complex nation, that we need time to get things working. Finally, we have Vanguard newspaper this morning. Will we invade Niger if diplomacy fails? I think that's we've seen that in almost all the papers we read out this morning coming from ECOWAS. And then up there, Emefiele, federal government showing signs of disobeying court orders. This is coming from a judge. Subsidy removal, no instant solutions to Nigerians' problem. This is coming from Tinubu. And then down there, subsidy removal, federal government shocked over high food and transportation costs. Okay, these are many more what we have on the front page of Vanguard newspaper this morning. So quickly, let's look at this Emefiele's case. I mean, we've seen that and all the papers we read out. I think we saw where a judge was telling the president of disobeying court order. So what's your take on that, Arinze?
Truth is, about 99.9% of issues we've seen in the country is not new. Saying the federal government does not obey court order, we've seen it over time. Most times when we say certain things, it looks like we are being tribalistic. Nnamdi Kanu is in custody, and the court has asked that guy be released. And what has been done about it? As a matter of fact, the federal government is using their might, their constitutional rights or whatever, their benefits, their privileges to deal with people who did not, possibly before their assuming office. When they assume office, they begin to deal with it. People alleged, which is now becoming true, that if Mr. President assumes office, that the CBN governor, the exchange, will actually pay for it. And he's actually paying. It's ridiculous. And that system, it shows that we don't have hope. But my joy is, at the moment, it seems like the judiciary is beginning to speak up gradually, where you can see people boldly say things, and the federal government is not getting it right. Aside that, how do we get things to happen as they should happen? The other time it was the DSS and the prisons fighting over custody of Emefiele.
After the court has said the guys with the bail grant, he should be allowed to go.
It was caught on camera. It was seen by people. I don't know. I'm telling you, it's a mess case.
Okay. Before we go, man, do you want to add something to that? Okay, well, we don't want to say a very big thank you to you for joining us on Press Review this morning. Thank you so much, Arinze Anyebunam, for being here, and also Emandi Ezanago. Thank you so much. Well, that's it for Press Review this morning. Thank you so much for being part of Vita. We are going to take a short break, but we come back because we still have other things for you this morning. Stay with us.